I've seen that my boyfriend has been googling what to do if partner has gained a lot of weight and I don't know what to do. Me and my BF have been together for around 2 years, we live together and have some cats. All is good, except for the fact that he had been phone cheating or sexting other girls throughout our relationship and was still on Tinder etc. I found this out just after we moved in together as I saw all the messages on his phone with these other girls, one particular girl more so than others. I confronted him and he said it was due to sexual frustration whilst we were apart in lockdown. We worked through it and decided to try and stay together mainly because love has blinded me. Fast forward a week from finding those messages, I've seen on his phone, which he now gave me the password to and lets me go through and check, that he's googled about what to do if your partner has gained weight. I asked him about it and he said they were talking about it in their boys group chat and he didn't know what he thought so googled it. But there was no sign of that convo in his group chat. Fast forward 4 months of me feeling incredibly self-conscious, I've seen last night he was googling the same again. And now I don't know what to do, please help. I'd probably focus less on the Google search thing and more on the infidelity. Googling something like that, not necessarily cause for alarm. Cheating on you, not okay. I'd have already given him the boot. I'd say you need to lose some weight hun. Average male's about, what, 160 pounds? Start there. Dump him. Not so much for the weight thing, because other than googling it, it doesn't seem like he's mentioned it to you. But the phone cheating thing is, if he was frustrated, lonely and couldn't see you and therefore wanted to sext someone, his choice should have been obvious. You should have been the girl getting his attention, especially as, presumably, he couldn't physically act on it anyway. Emo, this post is wrongly labeled. There's nothing wrong with googling tips on how to talk to someone about a sensitive topic like weight gain. But he cheated and you have no trust in him. So go to counseling together or move on. Use his phone to Google what to do if your boyfriend is a cheating, judgmental asshole, and when he finds it tell him the weight you'll be losing is him. What a dick. I'm sorry you've been treated like this, and I can promise you're worth better. All is good, except for the fact that he had been phone cheating or sexting other girls throughout our relationship and was still on Tinder etc. All is good, except for these terrible things. We are infertile and wife is refusing to adopt. Update, scroll down for original post. I found out what she meant by taking matters into her own hands. Got a text from Sil, her sister, wanting to meet with me in private. I went over to her apartment and she basically started crying and saying sorry. My wife asked her to donate her eggs about 3 months ago. Sil didn't not want to but eventually caved in and donated her eggs. Keep in mind I did not donate any sperm. She was told to keep things to herself and not let anyone including me know. The IVF cycle failed. My wife decided she wanted to try a second round of IVF and asked Sil to donate again. Sil doesn't want to but is afraid to say that to my wife. She couldn't keep me in the dark and wanted support, telling my wife she does not want to donate her eggs. Wife basically threatened her that she will tell her family how she isn't willing to support her own sister. We both have extended Italian families and this will get extremely out of control if others find out. I tried to console her as best as I could. Then went over to my best friend's house to calm myself down. Wife thinks I am staying over late playing some video games with him. I have way too many emotions going through me right now. I am angry and I feel horribly betrayed. I haven't confronted her. I am not sure what to do next. I am going to give it a few days to calm myself down before making any decisions. I decided to get some suggestions anonymously as we don't feel comfortable disclosing this with our friends/family. We are both in our late 20s. We have tried to conceive for about a year and a half before seeing the doctor. After a bunch of tests, we found out that she has something called premature ovarian failure. The way the doctor described it, basically, she is gonna hit menopause in a few years. She doesn't have a lot of eggs left. We discussed a bunch of treatment options and doctor told us without a donor, our chances of success with IVF are roughly 5 to 10%. If we use a donor, this goes up to around 80 to 90%. Also each treatment is going to cost roughly $15 USD 20,000. While we have planned things well, that is still a lot of money. My wife proposed we ask her younger sister to donate. This is when our disagreement started. I do not feel comfortable with that for a number of reasons. 1. I see her as my younger sister. I know we won't be doing the deed, but just the thought of having a biological child with my sister is repulsive. 2. My wife is super close with her sister. I know our future child is going to have a lot of interactions with her aunt. I do not want the complication of aunt versus biological mom. 3. This is a big ask that can affect her life. Her future relationships are definitely going to be more complicated if she has a biological child. I have not asked her sister. I am not 100% sure if she has either. I explained this to her as clearly as I could. I then mentioned that I would prefer we rather adopt for a number of reasons. 1. As far as I am concerned, if it's not her egg then we aren't exactly passing her genes on fully. Yes, her sister has some of her genes, but it's not the same thing. 2. There are way too many kids out there without parents or families. I would rather do something good and take care of them, while fulfilling our desire for parenthood. My best friend is an orphan and I know the struggles he went through growing up. She is refusing based on the fact that she wants to experience what a pregnancy feels like. What it feels like to have a baby in her. I do empathize with her. We had our first major fight in many years. We have discussed this often but have not been able to come to a consensus. The last time we discussed this, she basically told me, I need to get on board or she will take matters into her own hands. No idea what she means by that, but I am at my wit's end. I am looking for any advice or suggestions on how to approach this. Edit 1. I have discussed seeing a counselor with her. We found someone through the fertility clinic. She has good experience dealing with this specific situation. I booked 3 appointments so far, but my wife cancelled every single one. She doesn't believe in psychotherapy. Edit 2. To clarify, I am 100% supportive of her to try IVF with her own eggs. Since I was in high school I have always wanted to own my own restaurant. I have been saving for it. Day one of my first job. I have put aside quite a bit of money to eventually purchase a restaurant. I offered to spend every last cent of it for as many IVF treatments she needs to attempt pregnancy. I do not think it is possible for me to be more supportive than this. Edit 3. Thank you for so many helpful constructive comments. I have not heard of embryo adoption before, so I am going to start looking into it. I will definitely get a second opinion regarding our options from another fertility clinic. Honestly, I think the counseling is best advice. This is a huge decision to make, and if you feel so strongly against the sister donating, you need to stick to your guns there, I think. Perhaps suggest therapy to your partner and see if she responds positively to that, as I think it genuinely is the best course of action. You guys really need marriage counseling for something like this. The feelings involved are way too strong and primal for most couples to get through without a mediator. Have you looked into embryo adoption? There are a lot of embryos left over from couples who have gone through IVF who are not planning to have more kids. Many couples don't want them to be destroyed and would rather give the embryos out for adoption. Your wife would still experience pregnancy and you don't have to find an egg donor. A lot of people here are saying to just try IVF, since there's a possibility that it might work, but I don't think they're understanding the financial and physical toll that IVF takes, especially since it sounds like her odds of conceiving are low. I've been through it and it is rough. Spending $20,000 on just one IVF cycle that is likely going to crush her when it doesn't work out is not the best solution. I know Reddit loves to recommend therapy, but in your case I genuinely think it's your best move here. Think it's your best chance to get on the same page. Yeah. Part of me is afraid how devastated she will be if the IVF cycle doesn't work. I am going to start seeing a therapist because I cannot handle this by myself. I hope she comes around to it. Your wife doesn't believe in psychotherapy but wants to be a mother? What happens in the future if you have a child and they have mental health issues? What if she gets pregnant and then has postnatal depression? Your wife isn't willing to work on the problem now. Until she's ready to do that, don't have a child. IVF is intensely emotional and ridiculously stressful. It's incredibly hard to face the failures without the assistance of a therapist. Source: I went through 12 rounds of IVF. My own nudes are being sent to me from a burner email address. Where to go from here? Oh, I have been receiving emails from burner email addresses which contain my own nudes, which I suspect are being sent by an ex-girlfriend, as she is the one I sent them to. Luckily, my face is not visible in any pictures I've sent, but it is unmistakably my dick and asshole in these pictures. I have not yet confronted my ex about this, but I am wondering if before I do I tell my current girlfriend what is going on? I don't think my ex would send them to her since she doesn't know her email address, but I want to cover all bases. Tell your girlfriend, then block the email address and forget about it. It's almost certainly your ex, but you already know what you look like nude, so who cares? Unless she starts doing something else with them, it's not a problem. And if she does, or she threatens to so do, then it becomes something to report to the police. These are burner email addresses and a new one each time. Impossible to block. How do you think your GF will react? I mean, if it's playing on your mind, tell her anyway. She'll know something's up and you don't want her assuming the wrong thing. Oh, and go to the cops obviously. I'm not sure how she'd react, to be honest, but if somehow she was sent these pictures she would know right away that it was me. Which is why I may just give her a heads up just in case. Well, either it's your ex who is harassing you, which is illegal, or your ex shared the pics with someone, which is also illegal. You seem to have a case if you want to. But anyhow, just tell your GF that someone is harassing you with your old nudes. Set up a rule in your email to try and catch these types of letter to a special folder or something and deal with them as you see fit. Tell your girlfriend, I wouldn't be mad if my BF told me that his old nudes to exes were being used against him. I'd support him. I'm sorry you're going through this, frown. Is there a way to prove these are old pictures? That's possibly the only thing that would make me paranoid if I were GF. Straight to the cops, dude, let them deal with it. Most countries now have laws against revenge porn.